Hey, it's me. Uh, Stuck at home, being non essential for this 2 week period, and figure why not re alphabetize my vinyl collection? And I figured I would show it to everybody. So I will do this letter by letter, and we will start with A. All right, welcome to my vinyl collection, letter A. We will go through this. We've got an original Australian release of AC/DC High Voltage with different artwork than the US version. If You Want Blood, of course, Highway to Hell, Back in Black, the Iron Man 2 soundtrack, which is essentially AC/DC's greatest hits in a way. And we move on to the Academy is a pop punk emo band from Chicago suburbs, limited edition vinyl. Adam and the Ants. Old school. Speaking of old school, Bryan Adams. You Want It, You Got It. Followed by the album of his I really love, Reckless. Now we're moving on to a large portion of my A's, which is Ryan Adams, starting with the debut Heartbreaker. Moving on to the follow-up Gold, which I also have a reissue on clear vinyl, both editions featuring bonus tracks. After that, Demolition and the Love is Hell Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab box set. Rock and Roll, one of my favorites. Cold Roses. We're now getting into the Cardinals era. Jacksonville City Nights. My least favorite album of his, 29. Still own it though. Easy Tiger, which is a orange colored vinyl. Cardinology. This was a special order one called Orion. This was a kind of 80s metal side project he did. Only available on that and long out of print, which is also the case for Ryan Adams and the Cardinals, 3 and 4 double album. We have the Follow the Lights EP, Ashes and Fire. Then we've got the self-titled and Live at Carnegie Hall, just the single edition disc. And then the Taylor Swift cover album for 1989. So that is the beginning of the A's. We move on to the second row. Okay, we have Adventure Club, Calling All Heroes. They're an electronic duo out of Chicago, I believe. Aerosmith, Get Your Wings, Live Bootleg. Honestly, I'm surprised I don't have more Aerosmith. I thought for sure I had the debut and Toys in the Attic. I'm pretty sure I do. I just have them somewhere and can't find them right now. All right, Afghan Wigs, Gentlemen. That was a reissue on the 20. Oh, hey, there we go. There's Toys in the Attic. AFI, Black Sails in the Sunset. This is where I started listening to AFI. I also have the All Hallows EP. I had the Art of Drowning, but I sold it for over $100. So I'll just listen to that digitally or on CD. Against Me, Searching for a Former Clarity, followed by New Wave, my favorite of theirs. Then White Crosses and Transgender Dysmorphia Blues. That's the Against Me portion. Then we move on to Alabama, which I totally poached these from my parents, but I grew up listening to them. So we have My Home is in Alabama, the self-titled Mountain Music. The closer you get with our last name on the front, so nobody steals it unless they're a Wyckoff. Roll On, which that looks to have a HF there, which I would believe is my uncle's initials, so somehow we ended up with that. 40-Hour Week, and The Greatest Hits, which has a couple songs that are only available on that. Then we have Alice in Chains, Jar of Flies, and I am a huge fan of Disney's Alice in Wonderland. Don't believe me? check out the original movie poster on the wall. So we've got the soundtrack. We've also got a storybook version of it. And this one, now this is something. This is from a 1980s made-for-TV version that features a cavalcade of 80s stars. But most importantly, right there, the White Queen, Carol Channing, because this record features the song Jam Today, which any of my friends know I have a very big soft spot for. So we'll put those back and we move on to the next section, which is another one of my favorite bands, Alkaline Trio. So we start with the first album, God Damn It, Maybe I'll Catch Fire. I am missing the self-titled compilation, but hopefully I will track that one down. We have From Here to Infirmary. I was at the album release show for that album. This is a picture disc split EP with Hot Water Music. They both did a few songs there. Pretty cool release. Another split, this one with One Man Army, who toured with them for a little while. And there's Good Morning. I am missing Crimson. Again, one I hope to add to the collection soon. This is B-Sides compilation called Remains on green and gray vinyl. Then Agony and Irony, This Addiction, and My Shame Is True. I do have the new album on the way. It just has not arrived yet. Spent some of that stimulus check on some vinyl. So another Chicago pop punk band from back in the day, Alistair, Last Stop Suburbia. Altar Boys. I picked this one up at a used store back in the late 90s. The only reason I bought it is because MXPX did a cover of that song right there, You Found Me, on their On the Cover EP. So I was a fan of the MXPX version, figured I'd check that out. This is the band America. I've got 3 of their albums, most importantly this one, because I love the song You Can Do Magic. And we have American Bang. This is a one and done band. They later became Cadillac 3, which if you're a fan of them, check out American Bang. We have American Football and American Graffiti soundtrack to round out the America portion of the collection. All right, finally, Anne Boleyn's debut album. I remember seeing them play a showcase at Cornerstone right after they got signed. They only had about 3 songs at the time, and fast forward years later, they are on the main stage of the Warped Tour. All right, so we have the debut, which is Blueprints for the Black Market. And then we have Never Take Friendship Personal and Cities. That is a great trilogy of albums. I've also got this one, which is one of their later records. Not a huge fan, but I do still have it for the time being. This is a post-rock band, and So I Watch You From Afar. They kind of do instrumentals. The Angus soundtrack, great record, great movie. Apollonia 6 Sex Shooter, one of Prince's proteges. He also wrote the song. This is a 2-cut single. Arliss Nancy, great band out of Oklahoma. We have Rick Astley, because I have to be able to rickroll people. We have At the Drive-In, Relationship in Command, one of my favorites. The Atari So Long for Astoria. Atmosphere, When Life Gives You Lemons, no artwork. And then some 80s. Autograph Sign In Please. The Avett Brothers Emotionalism. And the Avett Brothers I and Love and You, one of my favorites. And that makes up the A's. Stay tuned for the B's.